Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and we are live right now on YouTube. It's currently the 12th round of George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr. And just going to bring you guys my live reaction to this fight as everything unfolds. Right now, George Groves is in the middle of a masterclass performance where he's pretty much out here, letting Chris Eubank have it. Chris Eubank has been very wild, very ineffective, hasn't been able to really find the reins in the ring. He had maybe a couple rounds where he grew into the fight. But overall, it hasn't been the best of performances for Chris Eubank Jr. A lot of people picked him. I did, and right now we got about 90 seconds left in the fight. Got Eubank right now trying to close the distance on Groves. In the last round, he's got a big cut on one of his eyes, and he's not losing this fight for lack of effort. But I think right now Groves is doing a good job of just like holding his ground and showing that, hey, you can fight on the inside, you're strong, but you ain't strong enough to bully me. So yeah, I'll be here giving you guys my reaction as the decision comes in, as this 12th round concludes. Let me open up my comment thing right now. Hold on. Yeah, Eubank has looked a lot like Sean Porter in some spots with the way he smothers his work. And right now, he's pouring it on Groves right now. Homeboy's fighting back. Oh, my God. Eubank might get a late stoppage. He keeps hitting him like this. There's blood on this freaking camera. George Groves is in survival mode. Oh, my God. Jesus. What a right hand by Chris Eubank Jr. Wow. Yo. He better survive. Wow, what a fight. What a fight. Probably his homeboy didn't put Groves out that one shot. Yes, I don't know what the judges saw, but I thought George Groves definitely won that fight. I didn't score it, but I thought he won. But man, Chris Juxon W says, "How is it going?" It's going good, man. Just watching the 12th round of this fight. It was a fight where Groves was outsmarting Eubank from the outside, made him use ineffective work pretty much the whole fight. And then, as the fight wore on, Eubank tried to impose his conditioning on Groves because Groves be tending to fade later on in fights. And he had his best round in the 12th round. Like, he finished the way you'd want to fight to finish. But I thought Groves won the fight. I thought just the way he dictated the pace, the range, the manner in which the fight was fought at. Eubank wasn't very effective with his work. He was very Sean Porter-esque in a way, and not as accurate, but Sean Porter-esque in the way he would smother his work on the inside. But in this last round, man, he really put it on George Groves. I think he probably landed the hardest punches of the fight in the 12th round. I'm not sure what the point was for Olaf, but survive, right? Are you talking about Groves? Because if it's Groves, the point of holding is to survive. Man. It's kind of funny, too, because if you guys watch the way Eubank was punching in the 12th round when he was in close, it was like the only round where he was pivoting on his shots correctly. Like he was overcommitting on a lot of his offense early on. That boy 26 says Eubank has no power at 168. He's too small. At the elite level, I agree with you, because if you watch when he fought Vini or whatever his name was, he did whatever he wanted, but once you get up to that top level, that's when you really get exposed. So I think in many ways, he he showed what he has to become in order to be a good fighter at 168. Like I think he has to become more of an accumulation puncher. And with that being said, he needs to get more accurate and not wing so many shots. But I thought he showed great conditioning and character in the last 12 rounds. So I'm probably gonna get this fight wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I did underestimate Groves, and I did overhype in my mind Eubank. So if I lose this fight, I'll be 8-2 on the year, 0-2 in UK fights. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, Groves has been hurt before. Groves fades later on in fights. I thought, you know, what we saw in the 12th round of this fight is what we would have saw earlier in the fight from Eubank, but that wasn't the case. Eugene. I don't even know what I said when I pronounced your name, but Eugene. Okay, Eugene. Pretty much, like, I would say he won maybe two max of the first 9 rounds. I mean, I thought George Groves just outsmarted him from the outside all night. That'd probably be a better move for him. He's more suited for that weight, so yeah. And I mean, one frustrating thing about Eubank too, really, in that fight, especially the first part of it, was the fact that he was not getting off first. He was getting off last in every exchange. He pretty much just let George Groves do whatever he wanted. And it wasn't until he started dictating the pace and pushing that pace up that he had any sort of success in the fight. Yeah, it wound up being probably a closer fight than I think in my head because I didn't score it, but I think it's a clear win for Groves. So the decision's coming in right now, guys, so we're going to see what they say.
Howard Foster, 117 to 112. Stephen Gray, 116 to 112. Marcus McDonald, 115 to 113. All three for your winner by unanimous decision. He is now advancing to the finals of the World Boxing Super Series to compete for the Muhammad Ali Trophy and is now the IBO and WBA Super Middleweight Super Champion of the World.
All right, so there you have it. George Groves is in the final. George Groves wins a unanimous decision over Chris Eubank Jr. And I don't like using this word because he came on so strong, but I'm gonna have to use it, man. Like George Groves went out there and he exposed Chris Eubank Jr. You know, so Eubanks had, you know, in his big fights in his career, the ones that mattered, he's lost both of them. And yeah, so I'm going down to 8-2 on the year. That was the second fight I got wrong this year. So good win by George Groves. You know, showed really great patience and boxing from the outside. And now that he's gotten past this test, I thought for me personally, this would be his hardest test. He stands a great chance of winning the final. I think stylistically he matches up fantastically with Bramer and Caleb Smith. But I'm sticking with my pick. Caleb Smith will win the tournament. So we'll see what George Groves has to say here in a second. But what did you guys think about the fight? I mean, I always think of robberies. I thought they might have given Chris Eubank a gift decision, but they got it right. And you know, big shouts out to George Groves, a guy that, you know, has picked up some great wins in his career. James DeGale, this one against Eubank, Martin Murray, good resume, good fighter. Probably underrated to a lot of people. I think I underrate George Groves. Let's see what he has to say.
Didn't bring the pressure that he promised, but I think I was hurting him from the get-go. I dropped him at least once, but it didn't count. A bit dubious there.
He did drop him, man. He did drop him.
Strong inside, but you know, very, very happy with the performance.
And just explain, you've collected an injury in the last round, correct? Dislocated shoulder.
Well, I haven't diagnosed it yet, but yeah, it feels pretty sore. But I wasn't going to let anything beat me tonight. I've boxed on and won with cuts, broken jaws, everything. and here tonight was going to let any injury get me out. It was about who wanted it most, I think, and I obviously wanted it most.
Was it also about pedigree and experience in terms of the way you were able?
No, there wasn't any knockdowns. I'll get to that in a minute. Hold on a second.
The jab was landing correctly all night. When he had success, it's because I did something wrong. He was strong, he was aggressive, but that wasn't enough, obviously, tonight.
And just in terms of getting the cut, I mean, Eubank Jr. was cut pretty early. When you saw that, do you think it enabled you to gain a foothold in the fight to even more of an extent? Do you think also perhaps that after that, Eubank Jr. was a little bit more wild than you'd have expected?
No, I'd already hurt him before the cut. He wasn't dabbing away at the eye, so I don't think it was obscuring his vision. He was getting more wild as the fight goes on because he's having no success. Fundamentals of boxing. So the better man won on the night tonight. Credit to Junior for getting through 12 rounds. I didn't think he would. I hurt him a hell of a lot of times, but to say credit to him, he dug it out.
And where do you place this in your career, this victory tonight?
Well, this is, it's been a long time since I won in front of a big crowd. I had great support here tonight. Domestic world title fight. Obviously, when I've been here before, it's cold crush, I didn't win. So it's lovely today to get that justification. Obviously, another defense of the world title under my belt, and away we go next.
George Groves, many congratulations. Well done.
All right, so there you have it. George was pretty happy about his performance against Eubank. They're going to go to Eubank now, so I'm going to shut up. Let's see what he has to say.
The card there, I think you felt he won it. What do you think the better man won?
I thought it was close. I thought I did enough in the later rounds to win the fight, but it's a close fight. And all credit to George. This is all part of boxing. It's up to you, so hopefully we can get a rematch. And I think it was enough of a good fight to have another one. I guess I'm out of the tournament now, but there's a man called Caleb Turant who has a super middleweight world title. He beat James DeGale, so maybe me and him can step into the ring, and then I'll get that rematch with the winner of this tournament.
It appears that George has dislocated his shoulder in the last round. The pressure you put on him, did that pressure just come too late?
I thought I pressured him the entire fight. I was always coming forward. I was landing shots. I didn't really get hit clean. He cut me. I couldn't see out my eye for most of the fight. But
so how much of a factor was that cut from the third round?
Listen, a cut's a cut. You have to deal with it. You have to keep going. I'm a warrior. That's what I do. I fight. He's on top form. Did I underestimate a little bit? Maybe. Big, strong, tough, and I think when you said he dislocated his shoulder, I don't know if he doesn't go through to the final because of that. I don't know if that means that I go through on that. But if he can get back into shape, then I think he'll win the tournament.
But what about George tonight? There have been words, obviously, in the build-up. What do you feel about George tonight and the boxer that he showed you that he was?
Yeah, he's got the heart of a true champion. He did what he had to do. He stuck in there. I was catching him with a lot of shots, and he didn't give up. So credit to him, and hopefully we can get the rematch. And I'm sure the crowd wants to see another one. So we'll see what happens.
And what next? You said it would be potentially a defining defeat for the loser, but what next for you?
Like I said, there's other world titles out there. There's other fighters out there that I can challenge. I believe that I've proved tonight that I'm more than capable of fighting at world level. And I'm still collection season. I'm still coming after. I'm still going for people that have the title. So,
a courageous performance, Chris Eubank Jr. Thank you very much.
All right, so there you have it. Chris Eubank. We're gonna get into both fighters. We're gonna start off with the loser of the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on, what's happening now? Oh, okay. But yeah, no. Let's go over here. Let's go over to the YouTube set. Hold on. Let's go over to the YouTube set. Let me holler at you guys over here for a second. Hold on. Make sure I get all my ducks in a row. Hold on. Hold on, guys. I'll be talking in a minute. Hold on. All right. So, Yeah, no, whatchamacallit? Grove or Eubank. Let's start Eubank. Eubank, this is a watershed fight for him. You know, this is a fight where for him he needed to come out a winner. He didn't come out a winner. Lighting, hold on. Let me fix his lighting. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this properly. Hold on, guys. But I'm gonna talk while I'm getting my light set up. So Eubank, he had a chance to really make a name for himself in this fight. You know, fighting a guy in Groves, world-rated boxer, very respected. You know, been through a lot of good fights, beating some good fighters in James DeGale, Martin Murray. You know, in some ways you can call it a unification fight because that IBO title, although it's kind of irrelevant, the IBO title that Eubank won against Renault Quinlan was on the line. But you know, in this fight, you know, I think the experience really costed Eubank this fight because I'm gonna say for like the majority of the first couple rounds, for the fight, I'll say he just struggled getting off. He really struggled getting off first. He allowed George Groves to dictate the pace of the fight, dictate the tempo of the fight. And while he was doing that, you know, he was winging a lot of shots. He was just throwing a lot of ineffective shots. He really had a hard time establishing effective work, hurting George Groves, a guy that, you know, has been hurt in the past by, you know, a couple fighters. And it was a fight where I think up until the last couple rounds, you know, he left a lot to be desired. And he's saying that he did recently, in that interview, I don't know if you guys could hear the audio, but in the interview, he did say he is interested in fighting Caleb Truax. Now, Caleb Truax recently captured the IBF title when he fought James DeGale. And obviously, that's a fight where Eubank, from his perspective, is probably thinking it'd be the easiest way to get a title and leverage his way into a big fight because Truax, despite the fact that he had upset, is not rated very highly. So he's calling out Caleb Truax. That could be an option for him. But like many of you guys are saying in the comments, he might have to go out down to 160 because that's where he can be the most effective. That's where he can hurt people the most. So that's what it is, man. And onto the George Groves side of things. George Groves, I mean, this is a guy that Groves, you know, he in his career he came out really, really short in two big fights against not really short, but he came up short in two big fights against Carl Froch. You know, came up short again against Badu Jack. And then he became a world champion again, winning a vacant title, but he still lacked that big win. And I know he's going to the finals. He's going to fight another world-rated fighter, but it's a fight for him today. I think for his overall psychological state of mind going into the final, I think it's going to do wonders for him because, like he said in the interview himself, it's the first time he's won a big fight in front of a big crowd, and that's what he did tonight. And you know, he's a tough fighter to beat. When you let that man stand out from the outside and dictate things, that is a very, very hard fighter to beat. That's why you got to be like how Eubank was in that last round, how Carl Froch tends to fight, and then you have some success against him. But if you try to outbox Eubank from the Groves from the outside, it becomes a very, very difficult night to work for you. So I'm happy he's in the final. I think he's going to fight Caleb Smith in the final, and Caleb Smith is. I'm sticking to my pick. I had Caleb Smith winning the tournament. And I'm sticking to that. So you guys in the comments, let me know what you think. What you think about what you thought about the fight. I'm gonna go through your comments. You know, so yeah, let me know what city, what state, what continent, where you guys talking to me from on this fine evening. I don't know where you guys are at, but where I'm at, it's 6:24 p.m. So let's see what you guys are saying. Dean McLean, yeah, Dean McLean or McLean. I don't know how to say your last name, but True School. Where are you from now? I'm located in South Florida, you know, not too far away from, and you know what? I haven't had a chance to make any videos since it's happened, but I live in South Florida in a city called Dania, which is very close to Parkland. If you guys don't follow the news, Parkland is where they recently had the shootings at Stoneman Douglas High School, which is 45 minutes from where I went to high school. So, you know, want to give a big send my prayers and condolences and just love to all the families who tragically lost their kids this week in Stoneman Douglas High School. But yeah, I'm from South Florida, so yeah. That boy 26 says he doesn't have his dad's power, but he has everything else and more. And I agree with that. Eubank, is a fantastic athlete, very explosive, but I don't think like someone else I think said in the comments, he's someone that I don't think has been taught the fundamentals of boxing, and he's been getting by on his athletic ability and power and fighting guys that he can easily beat. And I think it really showed tonight when he stepped up to that world level in a big fight, and Groves outsmarted him from the outside. So yeah, he's got to get back to the gym, go back to the drawing board, and refine that skill set, because if he gets some fundamentals, man, that's going to be a very hard guy to beat. Grand Seeker says, good stuff, man. Thanks for the post live. My connection got cut off at the 9th round. No problem, man. I was planning on doing this anyway, so I'm glad I finally, I got on to do it. And yeah, I enjoy talking to you guys. So I'll probably be on for like another 30, 40 minutes. So I gotta go. But yeah. Let's see, devastated over the Eubank loss. Yeah, a lot of people picked Eubank. He wasn't able to get the job done, but I think he gave a good account of himself in those last couple rounds. A lot of guys in the situation, I thought he showed good character in the fight. I think a lot of guys in this situation who are getting thoroughly outboxed had this kind of aura and invincibility after all these fights. He's been winning easily. And he had the cut on his eye. I think he showed good character tonight. So if he can refine his skills, like I said earlier, learn some fundamentals, couple that with what he already has going for him, he's gonna be a hard guy to beat, especially if he goes back down to 160. Good fight. Eubank needed that 12th round pressure from round 1. Didn't pick up the pace until too late. I agree. It was kind of like in a much different manner. It was kind of like when Danny Garcia fought Lamont Peterson. Lamont had some effective work, in those last 4 or 5 rounds, but he gave so many of the earlier rounds away that it was hard for a lot of judges and some people to give him the fight. So even though when I watched that, I thought he won. Fact of the matter is he didn't start walking Danny down until later on, and that's the same thing with Chris. He was trying to walk George down, but he really had no success until later on in the fight. So yeah. Love one, hate one. Shout out to you, my man. Good to see you in the comments. He says, hell nah, Chris Eubank Jr.'s career is not over. He can still dominate other people. Well, we'll see, man. I think if he can go and get that Caleb Truax fight, that's a good fight for him to have. And if he can win that fight, I think that would be a big confidence booster for him, because Caleb Truax would be a tougher guy to beat, being that he has a lot of confidence after coming off the James Gill win, and he's a better fighter than people give him credit for. So, yeah, I think he can still be a good fighter. Mr. Celery says, easy win for Groves. What do you guys think about Eubank versus Gervonta Davis? Oh, God. Groves kills Eubank. Easy win for Groves. Groves kills Truax. Needs a real teacher trainer. Needs to learn how to go box. Tank has no belts. Precise Presenter. Shout out to my main man, Precise Presenter. I lost his comment. Where was it? Lost his damn comment. There it is. Okay. He said, Eubank is a bum, period. Strong, tough bum. Makes Margarito look like a virtuoso. Now, Precise, man, I think you're being a little harsh. He's not a bum. He's very wild, very erratic. Definitely needs to refine his skill set, but I wouldn't call him a bum. A bum would be like, I don't know, but Eubank's not a bum. Let's see. Hello from Ireland. Shout out to Mr. Celery. Shout out to the UK. Shout out to Ireland. Okay. If you can box, you can beat Eubank. It's that simple. Very true. Very true. And you know what? He's had roughly almost close to 30 fights in his career. He's 28 years old. I had this saying, and I use it in my daily life. That saying, and I've used it on some of my videos. And for those of you guys who are not subscribed to me, go subscribe. Get those numbers up. I have this saying where I say, once you bake a cake, it's a damn cake, and that basically just means like, once you have a way of doing things, you kind of just get set in your ways. And I feel like maybe it might be too late for Eubank, but I think he should at least try to make the attempt to try to get with someone who can teach him how to box from the outside, teach him some more fundamentals. He's a little heavy on the front foot when he moves around the ring as well. So I think if someone can refine some things in his skill set, he'd be a better fighter. But I know he's really close with his dad, so it is what it is. What do you think about Joshua Wilder on the real, though? And this question comes from our main man, D. McClain. He says, as we said, so I think with that fight, I'm picking Joshua to win. I just think, Wilder, And if you take away the straight right, Wilder really doesn't have a large selection of punches. Like he likes to throw your basic 1-2, which is great, and he's learned over time how to fight a little taller. But when he fights taller opponents, he has a hard time fighting tall. You saw that in the Gerald Washington fight. So I just think with Joshua has a more variation of punches. Joshua, better combination puncher. Joshua, probably not the harder puncher, but a pretty damn hard puncher. And with the untested chin of a Wilder, I don't know, man. I can see Joshua. I see Joshua beating him, but it's a good fight. He looked terrible, just like a street mauler. He did. I mean, he fell. I think he threw fault. I think if you go back and count it, he threw these wild hooks like this and uppercuts like this, really off balance. And I think he punched himself off balance so bad that he fell on the floor about 4 times. And I haven't seen his punching technique that sloppy since what's his name? Hold on, man. Somebody's calling me. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Hello? I might. I don't know yet. I'm actually live on YouTube. Can you just text me? Yeah. All right. But no. Like I was saying, man. Like he was mad. He was mad sloppy. So he just, like I said, it's basic stuff, elementary stuff. He just needs to work on. He's a fighter, but no boxer. I agree with that. That's not that. You can't argue that one. Needs a new trainer. Needs to get away from his old man. Skills are there. It's so bad. Learn how to box. Eubank trained twice on Christmas Day. Trains close to 365 days a year. Too much time in the gym, but needs top level coaching to fulfill potential. Now, that question that statement comes from Niall O'Sullivan. And now I think if you're training a fighter, if you're building a fighter, that's a better problem to have. Like having the problem as far as a fighter being in the gym too much. That's better than having a guy who doesn't show up to the gym enough. He just needs the right guy who's stern enough and has enough, know-how how to teach him how to box on the outside and fundamentals and just things that are going to make him better as a fighter. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think I don't really look at that as a bad thing, honestly. It's better to have that problem than a guy who's a lazy bum. D. McLean says Daniel Dubois is looking like a beast out here, and he is. I don't know. He didn't fight on this. I'm pretty sure he didn't fight on this card, but he's definitely looking really good. I know that they're recently talking about him maybe fighting Joe Joyce, but we'll see, man. I've said on many occasions he reminds me of a kind of like a Riddick Bowe type of fighter. So yeah, I like Dubois. But yeah, man. So with that fight, I'm 8-2 on the predicting fights. Got that one wrong. I'll probably 9-2 because I got Danny Garcia winning the next fight. But you know what? While I'm sitting here talking, you guys continue. I want you guys to continue giving me your thoughts on Groves and Eubank. Anybody who's funneling in to this live stream, go in your comments and let me know what you thought about the fight. Make your opinions known in the comments. Ask any questions. I'll try to get to as many as possible. What was I gonna say? And yeah, but now I wanted to talk about and go subscribe. And I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about what's his name? Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios. Now, what do you guys think about that fight? Leave your opinions and comments about that fight as well. For Danny Garcia, man, look, Danny Garcia, you go and you look at what Danny's been able as far as how he looks coming into the fight. It's very easy to look at him and just see that he is filled into the weight. He looks like he looks like he's filled into the 147-pound limit. He looks strong. He looks, like he's gonna be when he lands punches that they're gonna have a genuine effect on his opponents. And with Danny fighting a guy like Brandon Rios, what the most intriguing thing from his side of things, right, from the Danny Garcia side of things, the most intriguing thing for me is the mental discipline that of this fight with him. And I say that because I've gotten very pissed off watching Danny Garcia fight a lot because I feel like, and I was talking to my boy Paul, who's a big Danny Garcia fan, like he was watching George Groves and he's saying that's kind of the way Danny Garcia should fight. And I feel like he could fight that way. I just feel like there's a reluctance. He's too damn patient. His patience is a good thing, but I feel like it works against him a lot. And for this fight with Brandon Rios, I want to see some of that patience on display. But with that patience, I want to see that jab. I want to see him box. I want to see him move. And he should be able to do that against a guy who's flat-footed, who comes forward. You know what you're getting with a Danny Garcia, with Brandon Rios. You know, we're not going to be surprised what Brandon Rios is going to bring to the table. So he can make this fight very easy for himself if he goes in there and he's a smart fighter, and he feints and he breaks this dude's rhythm with his feints, and he jabs and, you know, counter punches and all that good stuff. So if he can knock Brandon Rios out, especially before the 9th round, when Tim Bradley did it, then that's going to be a statement to me. That will be a statement to me. I'd be very impressed with a knockout victory before the 9th round with Danny. A knockout victory of any sort. If he's able to just hurt the man, then I'm going to be very impressed, because Rios, you know, his head is made out of cement. That dude just keeps coming. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, from the Brandon Rios side of things, talking about Mr. Bam Bam Rios, he's claiming in this fight, he's claiming that, you know, he's basically in his career not trained properly, but now this is a new Brandon. He's claiming that this is a new Brandon, that this guy is going to be someone that you've never seen before, and that he's coming and he's going to win the effing fight. And, you know, I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to seeing what his conditioning looks like, what his stamina looks like. You know, he hasn't fought since last year when he fought Aaron Herrera. So it's quite simple for Brandon Rios what he needs to do to win the fight. It's you get on the inside, you make this a fire fight, and you know, you show that inside fighting that because he's a pretty good inside fighter. You know, Brandon Rios is a good inside fighter. Danny, not an elite inside fighter, but not the worst inside fighter either. So we'll see what happens, man. I think it's going to be a good fight. Let's get into some comments from you guys, because I've been seeing over on the right. The thing is going crazy. So let's see. Mr. Celery says Garcia is a hoe. Hey, I felt that way many times myself. But we'll see what happens, man. I just want to see him become a smarter fighter. I feel like my problem with Danny Garcia is I feel like he's okay with being okay. Like, he wasn't supposed to win fights against Conor Matisse. He did it. He won the fights, and he's gotten to that stage of his career where he's just comfortable. But I don't want to see him be comfortable. And I'm kind of glad that Thurman loss happened to him, because now it forces him to not be comfortable. So hopefully we see something good from him tonight against Brandon Rios. Must Get Clapped says Eubank needs to get rid of his dad and get real. His dad is gassing him up, and he is very limited. Now, I agree. His dad has definitely done a lot of talking, gassing him up, saying he's this, saying he's that. And some of the things that his dad said he is, you know, he is, and some of those things he said that he isn't. But one thing remains apparent is that, you know, with the athletic ability, with the conditioning, with the gas tank that Eubank has, there's still a lot of elementary things that he needs to learn, and he probably does need to go elsewhere to get those things. I don't know who we could go get to be his trainer, but he probably does have to get away from his dad. It was awful, so disappointing after criticizing so many other fighters. Yeah, it was. I mean, you can't say it was awful. I mean, I would say the first 7 rounds were awful, with how he was getting exposed as far as lack of experience and smarts in the ring. But when those later rounds came in, you saw great character from Eubank. You saw him give a good account of himself, and you saw him hurt George Groves. He probably landed the most effective shots as far as from hurting your opponent of the entire fight. So you can't call it awful, but it was definitely a fight where we learned a lot about Eubank, and he learned a lot about himself. Damn, Eubanks was shopping for mansions before the fight. He's gonna have to downsize. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, he was shopping for mansions. He had a clothing line come out. He was busy with his clothing line and whatnot. So for him, I think this message. This is for you, man. You know, you gotta be more focused when you go into your fights, man. You can't be out here shopping for no mansions and clothing lines while you're in fights. While you're in camp for a fight, that's just what it is, man. So let's see. Nooptown Cartoon says Rios hasn't been this motivated and in shape for a while. I guarantee it would be more difficult than it is supposed to be. Now, that's very true. You know, even if he was out of shape and he was fat, the fact of the matter is that Brandon Rios has a cement of a head, and he's not an easy guy to stop. And Danny Garcia is not someone who throws a lot of punches anyway. And Danny Garcia is a guy that, just for whatever reason, at times he fights the other opponent's fight. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like him and his dad like say that they're a chameleon, but no, I think that he can make fights a lot easier on himself. And I think in this fight, you know, doesn't have the fastest feet in the world, but it's a fight where as far as positioning and being where you need to be in the ring, you know, he should be winning those battles in the ring all night tonight. He should be counterpunching Brandon Rios. I expect around the 5th, 6th, 7th round for him to be pouring it on Brandon Rios. And if I see Brandon Rios getting on the inside with no problems first 4 rounds, then I think there's a serious problem for Danny Garcia. So, no, that's what it is. He showed no boxing fundamentals. He was schooled. He was swinging wildly and missing. I believe Rios will put on a great performance tonight. So, yeah, in regards to that, Ray, yeah, now he was schooled. He did get taken to school, but he also did get a good account of himself. So you got to look at it, you know, what he was doing in that 12th round and later rounds. You know, he showed that he still has some things to work with as a fighter. And I picked him too, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm not disappointed. I thought he'd be better. Ray Donovan also says that Brandon Rios put on a great performance tonight. That's what I want, man. I want Brandon Rios to go in there tonight and like, look, you've been a fighter in your career that you know, early in your career you were getting a lot of hype. You know, people were talking highly of you, but you know, you were overweight. You weren't taking the fight game seriously. You know, you had a fight against Richard Abreu where you got thoroughly outboxed and you got a good decision. And you lost to Pacquiao. You had some good wins against Alvarado, but you got tonight's your night. If you want to make something in your career and have a legacy for yourself, tonight's your night where you can actually just like genuinely stake your claim in the welterweight division in boxing at large. So, you know. Let's see. Mohammed Ali says you're cross-eyed. Shout out to you. God bless. I'm not gonna get into that. Oh no, he's talking to Neil O'Sullivan. Eubank is cross-eyed and went for the wrong Groves. Groves is an old school slick fighter, but today he led a total amateur in Eubanks. He took Eubanks to school, but could have done much better. Yeah, he could have done it much better, but with Groves, that's why I expected the fight to be really good because I knew Groves was definitely the more skilled fighter. I knew that he was the better boxer from the outside. I knew those things going in. I just was banking on the fact that Groves would fade away and that the kind of shots Eubank was landing in the 12th would have came earlier, and I thought he would stop him, but that didn't happen. Groves put enough rounds in the bank, and he got the W. So, you know, good fight overall. And I'm excited, man. It's a good night of boxing. I know we got the Devin Alexander fight coming up soon. Let's see. I know we got the Devin Alexander fight coming up soon, so I'm excited for that. I might watch that. And I know you didn't call me cross-eyed. Yeah, no, you call the other guy cross-eyed. I'm not keeping up with all the comments because there's a lot of them. But hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna text someone right now. Let's see. Hey, do you guys know if the Devin Alexander fight is on? I might go watch that while I'm talking to you guys.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. is coming on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 8 p.m. I'll check that out. Did Chris lose? Yeah, Chris lost. Chris lost the fight. He got outsmarted from the outside. Groves was getting off first. And that's just what it is, man. Like he came out too strong. He came on strong too late, and it was too late by then. He's only 1 year younger than Groves. How does he improve? He definitely needs a new trainer. There really is no way around it. He needs to get a new trainer. Like that's how he improves. He improves by learning how to command distance better. He gets better by learning different variations of the jab. You know, an up jab, a flicking jab, a stepping jab. You know, he has to learn those things. And I don't think he quite knows those things. I think he's just getting by on athleticism right now and God-given ability. Devin Alexander is fighting Victor Ortiz. That fight will be coming on at 8 o'clock. I don't know if I'll be on live later on, but I would like to be. So Eubank didn't go for it from the start because Groves was so accurate from the start. Had he been able to, and that's another thing. Maybe he needs to probably tighten up on his defense too. Groves was so accurate early on, and that's what kept him at bay was the accuracy. It might not have even been the punching power of Groves, but the accuracy and the fear of getting hit, which is something he's not used to, kept him at bay long enough for Groves to put enough rounds in the bank to win the fight. And that's what it is, man. Like, Nah, that's unfair. Groves is not a poor fighter. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to say George Groves is a poor fighter. I mean, the guy, James DeGale, Martin Murray, Chris Eubank Jr. You got some good names on the resume. You can't really say that about him. And in the fights he lost in Carl Froch, I'm pretty sure, I think he was up on the cards in both those fights, but I could be wrong. But I know he was up on the cards on one of those fights, so you can't call him a poor fighter. We didn't I streamed the fight. I streamed that fight, the ITV one, the one you're talking about on the Facebook on the World Boxing Super Series Facebook page. So I didn't have a problem with that. Yeah, and he beat I actually thought when I watched Badu Jack that he beat Badu. I wasn't mad at the decision, but I thought he probably edged that one out. You think he's average? I mean, nah, I don't think he's an average fighter. You can't call him an average fighter because how can Groves be an average fighter when he's an above average outside fighter? He's an above average outside fighter. He's got above average ring IQ. The only thing that he lacks really is an elite stamina. Elite stamina is what he lacks. Elite stamina, elite power, and elite chin. Those are he's missing. He has a lot of vulnerabilities in the ring, but he also got some things going for him, which makes him like an exciting fighter. Whenever you see a fighter who has one or two very good skills to him, but then has like 2, 3, 4 vulnerabilities, he's always an exciting fighter. Groves is always an exciting fight because he's a very skilled fighter with a glaring amount of vulnerabilities. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I think it's time now that he's been world champion, now that he's beating a guy like, a guy that was getting a lot of hype in Eubank, a guy went against James DeGale in his career, beat a guy like Martin Murray. Groves is underrated. It's time that he start getting the credit he deserves. This guy's going to go to the final, and he's going to fight the winner of Jurgen Bramer versus Caleb Smith, and that's going to be a fight where, Caleb Smith is a long, rangy boxer puncher, right? Inexperienced at the top level, but still a long, rangy boxer puncher who I rate. I rate Caleb Smith. I think he's a good fighter. I think him and his trainer are being a little soft about complaining about going to Germany. But what do you expect from guys that are fans of Liverpool Football Club, So that's what it is, man. Caleb Smith, I think, is more average than George Groves. I'll be honest with you. I like Caleb Smith. But I would say he's more average than George Groves because he's a lot more untested. He hasn't shown as many dimensions to his skill set than as George Groves. So he's in danger of his next fight. I genuinely, I'm seriously thinking about changing this pick. I think he might get exposed by Jurgen Bramer, man. Jurgen Bramer's no joke. You saw what they did to Rob Brandt, like. Let's see. Nah, it doesn't have me gassed. I've always thought George Groves was a very skilled fighter. I never thought he was garbage. I just thought I think his issues or his chin and his stamina. Those are the only 2 things I thought he had going against him. So. But if you let him dictate things as much as he did tonight, he wins. He wins. If Caleb Smith or Jurgen Bramer fights, George Groves with the kind of patience and lack of willingness to get off first that what's his name? Eubank showed tonight, he gonna beat all of them. Jury's still out on Caleb Smith. The jury's still out on Caleb Smith, but I mean I like him. I like him. My man T says Danny Garcia is gonna have a tough time because Rios is going to come in hard. Yeah, man, I could see that. I could even see a head clash happening. You never know, man. And head clashes can always change the outcomes of fights. I mean, Roman Gonzalez was the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in boxing. Great fighter, all-time great fighter. And, he fought Ron Versailles, and the head clash changed the whole course of their first fight. And he wasn't able to really, he overcame the head clash and was still doing some good work, but his punches didn't have the same steam on him because of all the energy he was losing from the head clashes. So, head clashes are a big thing. Billy Joe Saunders is a slick fighter like Kell Brook, Khan, Floyd, tall fighter. Why not, man? If Caleb Smith gets past Jurgen Bramer, I think he's got a great chance to win the tournament. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first made my pick for the tournament for him to win the whole thing, like I was a lot higher on him then than I am now. But he still stands a good chance. Eubank can't beat any elite fighter at 160 or 168. Probably not. I'll be honest with you, man. Like I'm not gonna lie. Tonight revealed a lot to me about him, but it also revealed a lot to me about his character. Like he didn't fold up, so you gotta look at that. You gotta be balanced. And look, he didn't have the skills. He didn't show that the skill set we wanted to see, the performance we wanted to see, but he showed the character, the intangible things that make good fighters. So yeah, and that's what for my man S. Brown, that's what that Bramer fight represents with Caleb Smith. It represents him making the step up to someone who's been a world champion, someone who's at world level, and it's a fight where I could definitely see him getting taken to school by Jurgen Bramer. Jurgen Bramer is a good fighter, really good fighter. But yeah, it's right now. It's 6:50 here on the East Coast. It's your boy BT, True School Sports. Go subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We got some good stuff on there. We're talking boxing for like probably another 20 minutes or so. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. But yeah, man, shout out to my man Lord L. I'll give you a wave. Shout out to you, man. A lot of you guys are adamant that we're gonna see something special from Brendan Rios tonight. I mean, I hope you guys are right, but I don't see it. I don't see it. To be honest with you. Do you think this loss has wrecked Eubank's career? Well, it depends on how he uses the experience. Like, if he uses the experience properly and he goes back in the gym and he refines his skill set, then this loss could be whatever he wants it to be. It's on him. He's still 28 years old. He's still, very athletic. Has shown, a lot of good traits in the ring tonight. But there's definitely a lot of holes that he needs to go fine tune. So. Yeah. This guy says that's the end of Eubank's career. Very possible. And no problem, Lord L. Like, shout out to you, man. It's very possible. No problem, Ray. Thank you. What do you mean, T? What do you mean? What do you mean? What about you? So many freaking comments. Oh, do I think George that Chris Eubank is done? No, I don't think he's done. I think with him having the Eubank name, and them having the deal with ITV, with him being as exciting as he is, I think we'll get opportunities to make a name for himself in boxing. Maybe he doesn't become the great fighter that his dad was, but that's asking a lot from him. He could still become a box office draw. He could still become a box office draw in the UK. Which I don't really think is hard to do if you're an exciting fighter, but he can still become a box office draw in the UK. Eubank is not pay-per-view. He's not a pay-per-view star. Well, I don't know about that. We don't know about that yet. He's definitely pay-per-view exciting. Tom Wiley. He said, "Do you think Jordan should be in the Hall of Fame?" Oh, wait. Do you think Jordan – wait, what happened with Jordan? Which Jordan? Michael Jordan? Do you think Jordan should be in the Boxing Hall of Fame? I don't know. Which Jordan are you talking about? Piper EFC says, yes, man, you're a blue nose. Respect. Absolutely, man. Yo, big shouts out to – I don't give a damn where we're at in the standings right now. Big shouts out to the Everton Football Club, man. Like, shout out to anybody here who loves Everton. But, yeah, man, shout out to you. Hopefully we win next week. We play Watford. We need a big win. Should Steve Collins train Eubank? That's not a bad guy to learn from. Steve Collins was a good fighter in his day, so I don't know what kind of teacher he is, but I could see it happening. It'd be good. There's no fights on right now. Yeah, there's like no fights on right now. In about an hour and 6 minutes, we're gonna have the Devin Alexander fight. So depending on I don't know what I'm doing right now, if I'm gonna even be home. But if I'm able to stay home, I might go live for that and the Garcia fight. So I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, everybody who's not subscribed, go subscribe, man. True School Sports. Shout out to you guys. T said, I did not get to see the match. How did Eubank take the loss? Eubank took the loss pretty well. He got outboxed, but he admitted that he thought he did enough to win the fight, and that he wanted to fight Caleb Truex. That's the guy he called out in his interview. So, you know, I really didn't see anything too bad from you making the post-fight interview, but definitely has to go back to the drawing board. I think he was definitely humble because before this fight, there was a lot of talk of him hurting Eubank and Groves and making him like Nick Blackwell and all this stuff. That's what it is. He needs a clever trainer who can show him how to get on the inside, work effectively. His dad will always be too much of an influence. Senior is a block to his son's development. Yeah. No, absolutely. George Groves was a different animal today, I think. He was on steroids. What do y'all think? I mean, it's never far-fetched for any fighter to be on performance-enhancing drugs. So if he was, you know, it's not surprising. But I didn't really see anything too crazy from Groves that I haven't seen before. You know, he did what he normally does. He boxes really well from the outside. And because of the guy he had in front of him, he was able to dictate pace and put the rounds in the bank. So, yeah. Sunny Day says, did the U.S. boxing public rate Groves before the fight? I think most people in America, as far as Groves' perception, was that he was a cool fighter, but most Americans really aren't. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, most American fight fans, for the most part, just know Groves as the guy that lost Badu Jack and Carl Froch. They don't really do the time, take the time to research the fact that he beat James DeGale, he beat Martin Murray. So I think he's underrated. I think even I underrated him. I follow boxing probably harder than 97 to 8% of American fight fans. So what it is. Groves looked so weak prior to the fight. I'm actually surprised he fought like that. Yeah. After round 2, I felt like I had been caught physically robbed. Eubank sold me a dud fight. I mean, it happens, man. Like, the way Eubank sold you this dud fight was the same way Isaac Chamberlain sold me a damn dud fight against Okoli. I got that fight so damn wrong. I was sitting here thinking, you know, Okoli's a good puncher. He knows how to fight tall. He's kind of like Deontay Wilder. And I went and I watched all of Isaac Chamberlain's fights. Isaac Chamberlain was selling me on the fact that he was the more skilled fighter, that he was going to do this, that he was going to counterpunch, that he was going to sharpshoot, that he was going to just take this dude to school. And he had me believing it. So don't feel bad. Patrick Cisneros said, just got in. Who won TSS? So for those of you guys who are just getting into the stream and didn't get a chance to watch the fight, George Groves got the unanimous decision victory over Chris Eubank Jr. He pretty much, for the most part of the fight, outboxed him from the outside, was getting off first. Yeah, I did watch Isaac. He had some spotty performances, but he was fighting a level of opposition slightly higher than what Okoli was fighting. I saw more things in his skill set than Okoli. All I saw from Okoli was a guy who had a great big right hand and and he knew how to fight from distance at a decent rate, but it wasn't really tested against anybody at his level. So being that he was fighting someone at his level, it made sense for me to pick the more skilled fighter. But overall, it just became a sloppy fight. He was too big for Chamberlain. Chamberlain couldn't get off what he wanted to get off with his work, and he lost the fight. You know what? I still have to go watch Joshua Buatsi. I've been hearing great things about him. I've seen some clips here and there, but I haven't had to take the time to study Joshua Buatsi. There's so many fighters in boxing, so I try to get to know every fighter as much as possible, but it can get a little tough at times. Let's see. Look out for Josh Kelly. Yeah, no, I like Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly can fight. I mean, and he's fun to watch. And I think that's a guy. It seems like there's a lot of UK fight fans here. Let me guys know. A lot of you guys that are currently in here, how many of you guys are from the UK? And if you are from the UK, let me know where in the UK you're from. Josh Kelly, when I look at him, right, Amir Khan, he's fighting 147, but he ain't going to be in boxing much longer. Kell Brook's fighting 154. He ain't going to be in boxing much longer. So I'm looking at the UK fighters in the welterweights, and I'm looking at Josh Kelly as someone that could potentially one day be, if he, you know, continues developing the right way, a definitely like a cash cow for UK boxing in the welterweight division. I see him as the guy to take that role that Kell Brook and Amir Khan once had as the cash cows of UK welterweights. So we got a lot of people from Wembley, not Wembley, London, and Hackney. We got Hackney, London in the building. We got Harrow, London's anywhere. Do we got anybody from Liverpool? Daniel Dubois is 10 fights in and is going to be a top 10 heavyweight in the world. That is true, man. I still got to go watch some more Daniel Dubois. I mean, I watched like three or four of his fights, but I want to watch all of them. He looks like he's the goods, and he seems like he's got a good level head on his shoulders, and he can be someone that could be a big player in the heavyweight division. Leicester. We got Leicester. Shout out to Leicester City Football Club. Jamie Vardy, all them guys. Riyad Mahrez. Pavios G. Liverpool is in the house. Shout out to Liverpool. Shout out to the only team in Liverpool, Everton Football Club. Groves is a Dodger, not a boxer. That's what my man Shazad Maroof is saying. I disagree with that. George Groves is a very, very intelligent boxer, and I like watching him fight. Yeah, man, Brickenhead. I don't know what that's at. What is Brickenhead in London? Where am I at? Well, honestly, okay, I'm from America. I live in Florida, the state of Florida, the southern part of Florida. So I live 45 minutes north of Miami, and I live about 15 minutes south of Fort Lauderdale. And I live in a city called Dania, Florida. Just a kid from Dania. London. No, please, I picked Eubank. George is a high-quality fighter, underrated. Yes, my man Ray Donovan, he gets it. Shout out to my man Ray Donovan, he gets it. Like, Groves is underrated. He's underappreciated. He gives fight fans, you know, good fight after good fight after good fight, and that's what it is, man. Like he's definitely a clever fighter, a fun fighter to watch, and someone that should get more hype. And I'm hoping, man, like, no matter who he fights in the finals, I'll probably be rooting for him, and I'll like to see him win because I feel like it could be his moment in the sun, so to speak. Nuketown Cartoon says Florida is famous for having the craziest stories, right? We've got some crazy things happen in Florida. Like, I mean, for those of you who have been out there and watching in the news, you know, we had a crazy. I mean, I live in Dania. Hold on. Liverpool Football Club is trash, but I live in Dania, and we're not too far away from where the most recent shooting happened in Parkland, Florida, and you know it's been rough, man. It's been rough on a lot of people here. You know, there was a protest at my high school, which is not too far from where I stay, and you know, people are sad about what happened, and hopefully, you know, America can just find out where find out, you know, just we've taken God out of the picture. So when you take God out of the picture, stuff gets rough like this, and hopefully, you know, people can just find some positive and some good in this really, really bad time. So yeah. Rat-a-tat-tat, your school's got cats. Yeah, Joe Joyce, like, he's still, to me, he's still pretty slow with his punching, and he's like really amateurish. Still gotta adapt. Pavlos G, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I know that this is a boxing channel, so I don't want to talk too much about you know, football, as you guys call it over there, but it's one of my dreams to go to Goodison Park. I want to go to Goodison Park, and I want to kiss the middle of that big green pitch. I mean, I love Everton, man. There's no, I love Everton. Talk like Liverpool accent, but over the river and in Brickenhead. Okay, I know Liverpool Football Club isn't trash, but I'm an Everton fan, so I'm supposed to say that. I know Liverpool is a great club. Groves is going to win the final. from Sheffield, South Yorkshire, England. Joshua is also going to win all the heavyweight belts also. Now, that's interesting. That's interesting to talk about. Let's talk about Joshua for a second, because this man's in a very interesting position. This man is in the unique position of not just being the best heavyweight in the world, but being the best, being the cash cow of boxing. Like, he has that kind of, he's got that kind of, star power. Being a heavyweight, being from the UK, being a ticket seller, he's got a lot going for him already. As far as the fight with Charles Joseph Parker, that fight to me is going to reveal just as much, if not more, about Joshua than the Klitschko fight. And I'll tell you why. Because Parker is a lot better than you guys give him credit for. He's a very dangerous fighter. When we talk about Joseph Parker, you're talking about a guy with solid power. You're talking about a guy with, fantastic durability, a great granite chin. A guy in Joseph Parker that, if you were to tell the truth about the resumes between with Joshua, and I'm talking about the body of work, not just one fight, but the body of work, between the champions of Wilder, Joshua, and Parker, the guy who's fought the toughest opposition has been Parker. He's been fighting the likes of Huey Fury. He's been fighting the likes of Carlos Takam. He's been fighting the likes of Andy Ruiz Jr. The guy has been testing himself, and he's been fighting top-level opposition, and that's why maybe he hasn't looked as sensational, but he's been grinding out tough victories. So Joshua's chin is suspect. We know that. We know his, even more so than his chin, his gas tank, his stamina is just as suspect as his chin. So that's what it is. But I did see the comment over here. This man said, he said Tony Bellew would like you. I met Tony Bellew. Funny enough, I actually met Tony Bellew. He was here in my hometown in South Florida at the WBC convention back in 2016. I got to interview Tony Bellew. And it's funny, at the time I wasn't really following Everton. I didn't actually start following. I actually didn't become an Everton supporter or start following Everton Football Club until maybe like 3 or 4 days after that. And that's another story for another day. But I would love to meet him again, because I'd have so much to talk to him about now that we both support the same club. Yeah, man, like, you know how it is, man. Man has a sinful, like, I'm not trying to be like a preacher, but like, humans have a sinful nature, people can be, ass clowns, and they are, apart from God, people are massive ass clowns, and that's just what it's been. Here in America, like, I know you guys from the UK, so you don't quite understand this, but here in America, you can't even go to school on your own time in the courtyard and read a Bible or any sort of religious book, whether it be the Bible or the Quran or any sort of religious book, without it being a massive issue. So, and I've personally experienced that myself. So, the jab is dying in boxing. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of these fighters don't know how to jab, man, and that's why I get frustrated a lot. Like, these guys had the audacity to compare themselves to certain fighters, even guys like Floyd Mayweather. Like no disrespect to Floyd Mayweather, like, he's a great fighter, but like, the era of fighters he fought in, most of these dudes can't even jab properly, don't even have jabs. So it's like, whatever. It's whatever. My man Don Juan Banks, shout out to Don Juan Banks, man. I love Don Juan Banks. He's a great guy. Shout out to my man Don Juan Banks. He's a good guy, man. Like, I remember Don, man, like, back in my infancy stages of YouTube, Don was a guy, and you guys may see him in the comments. Don was a guy who had a pretty big channel at the time, and I learned a lot from him. He was a really great guy. My man Keenan KTV. I would love to. You know what? I would love to debate Keenan KTV. That dude is a great dude. Great guy. Don Juan Banks says, "Let me on. You blocked me." Yeah, I blocked you. You know why I blocked you. I don't need to get into that, but I'm not letting you on. But I'm keeping it respectful. Like, I respect your channel, and that's just what it is, man. Like, I ain't got no problems with you. Like, you went your way, I went my way. We're doing our own thing, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and hopefully you're enjoying what you're doing. Ray Donovan says, "Let me ask you, True School, why are people saying that Tevin Farmar has any chance against Tank Davis?" Now, With that fight, I gotta tell you guys this. I used to think that Tevin Farmer had a really good chance against Tank Davis because of his defensive skills. But after watching the fight against Ogawa, reviewing more tape on Tevin, I realized that there's a lot of things that he needs to go work on his skills. So I think he should have 3, 4, 5 fights before he even tries to go that route. Because but to answer your question, the reason people think Tevin will have a chance against Tank Davis is a simple fact that Tevin has great defense, that Tevin can make guys miss, that Tevin's a decent counter puncher. But other than that, you know, there really isn't much, or there really aren't many other reasons. Klitschko did make his jab, did make his reign off the jab. I mean, the guy made a whole career off of just basically keeping guys at bay. But at the same time, it wasn't even just that he kept guys at bay with his jab. He did fight a lot of smaller guys too. So, I mean, boxing ego is whatever. Boxing ego, like, he is what he is. You know, people are what they are. I'm pretty, like, with me, and any of you anybody who had a chance to meet me at fights or in the boxing gym will tell you, what you see with what you see with me is pretty much what you get. Like, I'm not really that much different in person as I am on YouTube. I might be a little more animated on YouTube, but I'm pretty much the same person. Tom Lloyd, shout out to Tom Lloyd. Andre Ward has an amazing jab. That's what Drinkwater says. You know what? I'll actually agree with you on that. But it's Andre Ward's jab that he has that's great for him. It's a very specific type of jab. Like, his jab is when he feints and then he jabs the stomach with his left hand. That's the best jab he has, and I think that's what's made him such a, you know, even though I don't like Andre Ward, like, I don't need to get into that. Y'all know I can't really stand Andre Ward because he's, like, the way he fights and boxes outside the rules in a lot of his fights. But that's one thing that he uses to set up a lot of the roughhouse tactics that he does have. So that's what it is. Keenan K says Klitschko took his first L when he fought somebody his size in Germany, Tyson Fury. Absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. But at the same time, there really wasn't many guys his size in the first place. I will say this: I interviewed Vladimir Klitschko back in 2015. I interviewed him back in 2015 when he was champion. This is before. I'm going to say this is probably 3 months before the Fury fight. And when he fought Fury, or before he fought Fury, I asked him, you know, about fighting Deontay Wilder, and he seemed like he didn't want that fight. I'll be honest with you. I looked in his eyes. I asked him. He really didn't seem like he didn't want that fight, and I think he would have been a good fight for him. Honestly, a good fight for boxing. You know, Wilder only has 2 punches in his whole arsenal. What's up, Dad? Shout out to my dad. Just looking 1962 or 11962 says, can you give a shout out to the UK? I've been giving shout out to the UK, but I'll give another one to the UK. Shout out to the UK, man. I get a lot of love from you guys out there. Shout out to the fine folks in London, Liverpool, Manchester, Leicester, Burnley, all that good stuff. Everywhere in the UK, in England. Hell yeah, Andre. Yeah, hell yeah, Andre Ward was a dirty fighter. I mean, I don't gotta rehash all that. I mean, I don't want to rehash all that, but yeah, hell yeah, he was a dirty fighter. Oh God, ego. The problem with ego is ego calls everybody a casual. You know what's funny? I actually made a video. I called out ego a couple years ago when he was disrespecting Romo Gonzalez, and I pretty much schooled him on boxing. And homeboy wanted no smoke. Like, he saw the video. I know he saw the video because he was alluding to it in his videos, you know, without saying my name. And he want no problem. So ego is ego. Yeah, Larry Holmes, man. I gotta have Larry Holmes on the wall. That's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Larry Holmes, you know, he was a great heavyweight. I still don't think he gets the credit he deserves. And you know what's funny? I had a chance to actually interview Larry. One of my first big boxing interviews was Larry. I interviewed him in 2015, just like Klitschko. Larry was a gentleman, and I asked Larry, about the fighters from today, and he wasn't really a big fan of them. He said if he fought the guys from today, he would have had 25 title defenses, 40 title defenses. As far as being shot, it really depends, because you can be shot from taking punishment and you can be shot from being weight trained. Now, you can still be a good fighter. You can still give a good account of yourself, and you can still be competitive in fights. But what generally happens when you're a fighter who takes long layups, who has to make sharp weight cuts, who is overweight in between fights, you wind up ultimately losing your reflexes, losing your skills, and it becomes a lot harder for you to win the big fights. So, not really. You don't really recover. He could have been a very dominant champion. That's the unfortunate part about it with Fury. Like, I mean, he was at the fight tonight because the fight with Eubank and Groves was in Manchester, but and he looked like he lost some weight, but it's going to be a tough road back for him. I don't want to write him off, but yeah, it's going to be a tough road back. I'm rooting for him, though. If he can get back to the 2015 form, if he can recapture 70% of that form, he's beating everybody in the division. Like, there's no doubts about it in my mind. Too good. I really hope so. I really hope so. Nelson, my dad, shout out to my dad. He says, "Do you think Usyk will take over the cruiserweight division? And if he goes heavyweight, will he be one of the top contenders?" Usyk is hands down winning the World Boxing Super Series. There's no doubts about that. I've said that since before the tournament, before the tournament started, really. As for heavyweight, his move to heavyweight, I think he could beat it. I think he could actually become a top contender. I could see him beating it. I actually think Usyk would be a very live dog against a guy like Joseph Parker. He's a better fighter than Joseph Parker and about the same height. So why not? Y'all gotta when you guys in the UK start talking about 18 stone, 19 stone, all that stuff, what is that like in America? Like in I don't want to sound stupid, but like in America, like regular like American weight, like pounds. But I'm enjoying talking to you guys. I genuinely am. All 57 of you. You know, we've had as high as 120 people in here, but I'm enjoying talking to you guys. I'm thinking I might go live for the Alexander fight, so stay tuned for that. You know, I'm probably gonna get off this thing in about, I'm gonna say 10 minutes. I'll get off this thing. So get your questions in. For those of you guys who are just funneling in here, George Groves picked up a unanimous decision victory over Chris Eubank Jr. It was a fight where he outboxed him from the outside, was really smart. I think the experience really showed up in the first 8 rounds. Eubank came on strong late, hurt Groves, but too little too late. 10 stone is 140. Okay, so 10 stone is 140. I'll keep that in mind. So you've been really cutting a lot of weight, Ray. Devin Alexander is fighting before Danny Garcia, Keenan. In what way are you saying that Murat Gassiev is going to beat Alexander Usyk? Because if you're saying that, you know, I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at you saying that he's going to beat him. But I mean, Usyk, as good as Gassiev is, I just think Usyk's a level above everybody else. I genuinely believe that. That's funny. But yeah, so for those of you guys in here who are not subscribed to True School Sports, go over there and subscribe because we just hit 11,000 subscribers. Love talking boxing. I love talking to fans. Love talking to people about the sport. It's a great sport that we all love. We still got some good fights on the docket tonight. You know, some good fights are going to happen tonight. On the undercard of Garcia Rios, we got two fantastic fights. Let's start with Benavidez Gavril 2. That's going to be a good fight at 168 for those two guys. You know, the first fight was really exciting. I haven't rewatched the fight, but when I watched the fight live, I thought Gavril actually edged that fight. I thought he stole some rounds early on. I think with the knockdown and, you know, the work he was doing in the later rounds as well, he won that fight 7-5-ish, somewhere around there. But I know a lot of people don't think that. So I wasn't mad at the decision. I didn't call it a robbery, but it was definitely a fight where I thought he won. Yeah, my man Keenan K TV, he's getting them subscribers, man. He's gonna pass me one of these days. He's gonna pass me. But yeah, that's gonna be a good fight. What I'm looking for from Benavidez tonight, I'm looking for him to make the fight easier. He's a more talented fighter. So he's a guy that I know loves to fight on the inside, shows blistering hand speed, but I want to see him try to box more from the outside. Use that size he has on Gavril. And then so I'm looking forward to that. And then for the next fight, for the other fight on the card, you're gonna have Ray Robinson versus Yordenis Ugas. Now that fight right there between Ugas and Ray Robinson, that's going to be a fantastic fight, and it's going to be an important one for the welterweight division because the winner becomes they slide into the number 2 spot for Earl Spence IBF title. And you know, I don't really know. I'm not going to claim to know a whole lot about Ray Robinson. Like I know he's a decent fighter from the Philadelphia area, but I know Ugas. You know, he was a bust. You know, he lost to Miriam earlier in his career. You know, he was pretty much looked at as a bust after that fight, and then he's rebuilt himself up. He's picked up some good wins against like Thomas Delorme and Brian Perella, been put him to lose in a lot of fights by PBC, and he's overcame that. So, you know, going to be interesting to see what he does tonight in a big fight against Ray Robinson. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to do a live chat for that for sure. I'm trying to get more consistent with these, but you know, life just happens sometimes, so it's like it becomes tough. I personally, I genuinely hate when fighters do that. Like I hated that when Adrian Broner did the excessive holding on the ropes with Granados, and when Ward did it with Kovalev. I really freaking hated it. Like I hate fighters who excessively clinch. Now with Groves tonight, I'm gonna say this: he did do some holding on the ropes, but I don't think he was excessively holding. And with Chris, you know, he's a pretty strong guy physically, so he's gotta actually, you know, get his way out of there, being as strong as he is. But you know, you gotta give credit to Groves. Groves held his ground. That's a strong fighter he fought physically. It's a strong fighter he fought, and when he was in there and he was winging shots and he was doing all he could to stop this man from winning rounds, he held his own. So you gotta give him credit. That's the hope, Nuketown. You know, that's the hope that there can be more things like the World Boxing Super Series. You know, organized tournaments where high-level fighters are fighting consistently and frequently, and you know, we're getting great action as a byproduct of that. I'm really hoping that they can bring the World Boxing Super Series to the States, because I think it's been a breath of fresh air for the sport, if you ask me. It's been ran a lot more effectively than the Super 6. It's been a real tournament because you don't have guys pulling out so consistently. You don't have the tournament pandering to one guy in the tournament. You know, it's been really, really good all the way around. Presentation, level of fights, all of it. That's what I thought wasn't happening, Ray. I was banking on the fact that you've been going to stop him later on too. Yes, that's what my friend Paul was saying. My friend Paul, big Danny Garcia fan, he was talking about how they should do the World Boxing Super Series, but for the welterweight division and bring it to America. Tom Lloyd said, "Big up, True School. You have boxing eyes." Thank you. Thank you. I love the sport. The fight that I'm really excited about, to tell you guys the truth, is I'm very excited for the Juan Francisco Estrada versus Wong Visai fight. What do you guys think about that fight? Well, next weekend on HBO in the super flyweight division, 115 pound division. Who do you have? Juan Francisco Estrada from Mexico or Cesar or Wong Visai? Gonna be a great fight. That's the one I'm really excited for. Like, you guys can 155,000% count on me being live on here for that fight. He is dirty, though. You can't – come on, man. Like, look, I will admit that, okay, Andre Ward, if he fights in a certain manner, it's part of it's the ref's job to police that, but it's also up to his opponent. So I'll be fair in my assessment in saying that. But you go look at any of this dude's fights, the Kessler fight, you go look at the Froch fight, look at both Phil Kovalev fights, you look at some of the Abraham fight, you look at some of the Bika fights. All of his fights, really, he's excessively holding. He never gets a point deducted for it. He leads in with his head. Yeah, I understand that, like, sometimes you gotta get down and get dirty. I 1,000% understand that. But when it's a constant pattern and it's the one of the biggest reasons why you win pretty much all your fights, it's a problem. I'm sorry. And you ain't gonna convince me otherwise. But I will also say with Ward, just because he's a dirty fighter doesn't mean he doesn't do some things well when he's fighting clean. Like I said, he's got a great jab to the stomach. He's got a great understanding of feinting and positioning, and he's not a trash fighter by any means. He's just I'm not a fan of the way he fights. Hell no, he didn't win the first fight against Kovalev. No way. Definitely not. No. The second fight, I have my opinions on the second fight, but that's a fight where I'm more inclined to give that one to Ward because, for one, he got the stoppage, even though it was controversial. But, it's kind of harder to argue that, and especially when you consider the fact that he looked so much better in the second fight, and that's what it was. But, like, the first fight, hell no, he lost. He lost that fight. He got schooled that fight. It was bad. Jeff Horn is a dirty fighter. A very dirty fighter. That's why I'm personally interested to see how Terrence Crawford handles that fight with Jeff Horn. I think Jeff Horn is going to give Terrence Crawford a really good fight. I really do. Yeah, but that's how the holding, the amount of holding he was doing was just disgusting in the first fight. I thought Pacquiao won that fight, and you know what? Even though I thought he won the fight, and I do think it was a robbery, I'm not gonna take credit away from Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn showed on that night because people were talking about, Manny Pacquiao's cherry picking, Manny Pacquiao's doing this, he's gonna stop Jeff Horn. Freaking Manny Pacquiao Jeff Horn proved on that night he can compete with any welterweight on the night. Any welterweight in the world, Jeff Horn can compete with them. And a lot of you, I'm not gonna lie, one thing that's really been pissing me off with a lot of boxing fans, quote unquote experts, is the fact that they can shit on Manny Pacquiao. They don't like to give Manny Pacquiao his credit. They say, they just disregard him in the landscape of the welterweight division. Like, it's ridiculous. Freaking Manny Pacquiao is still a top 3 welterweight. There's no way. There's no two ways about it. If you want to say Keith Thurman number 1 or 2, Earl Spence number 1 or 2, I have no problems with that. But after them 2 fighters, there is nobody else in the welterweight division that is better than Manny Pacquiao, and that's even going based off of recent performances. You look at what he's done his last 3 fights, following the Mayweather fight, where I thought that could have been a draw. If Mayweather did win, Mayweather didn't look sensational in that fight, so it's not like Manny got taken to school. And you could even argue Pac won that fight. The fight was really terrible. But since that debacle on May 2nd of 2015, Manny Pacquiao he whooped Timothy Bradley. All right, Timothy Bradley, who's going to go to the Hall of Fame one day. He then fought Jesse Vargas, who was coming in with a lot of confidence, beating a undefeated Saddam Ali. Then he fought Jeff Horn, who at the time was relatively unproven. He had only fought really old, faded Randall Bailey, but still, that's a guy that's significantly bigger, And I thought he won the fight. I thought he did enough to win. So he's been doing more, even at his advanced age. He's been doing more than any other welterweight in the division. Like, go look at his last 3 opponents and go look at everybody else's last 3 opponents. And you can't compare. Manny Pacquiao's still the highest. He's still the one challenging himself the most. Yes, absolutely. Manny Pacquiao can still beat anybody in the welterweight division right now. He could beat Keith Thurman. He could beat he could beat Danny Garcia. He could beat Sean Porter. He could beat a lot of these guys. Marcus Bennett is saying, "You think Manny won?" No, I'll say this. I thought the fight was a draw. I mean, I watched the fight many times. I think it was really a draw because I'll tell you why I think it was a draw. You can choose to agree with me or disagree with me, but here's what I saw in that fight. I saw Floyd Mayweather reluctant to engage with Manny Pacquiao. You know, he's not someone at 147 who's always, you know, throws a lot of punches anyway. But, you know, while he was accurate and with some counter punches, you know, I saw a guy who didn't want to engage. I saw a guy that was ineffective. I saw a guy who in many rounds was winging punches off balance. And I think CompuBox skewed the numbers because Floyd would throw a lot of punches, like literally, he would flick a freaking jab out there or throw a jab. It would hit Manny Pacquiao's glove, and people were counting those as jabs. And the funny thing is, like, I had this problem with boxing because a lot of the times when fighters have reputations, like Floyd Mayweather has the reputation for being a smart, intelligent boxer at welterweight who doesn't need to throw a lot of punches, right? Manny Pacquiao has a reputation for throwing 1,000 punches a fight. So because of the fact that Manny Pacquiao has a reputation for throwing 1,000 punches a fight, if he decides to fight in a different manner and does it successfully, he doesn't get credit for that. And I saw Manny Pacquiao in that fight finding some holes in that Philly shell with the left hand. I saw Manny Pacquiao, you know, landing the cleaner, effective, harder shots on Floyd. Floyd did not school Manny Pacquiao. All right, it was an even fight. If you want to say Floyd won the fight, okay, 7-5. 8-4, I got no problems with that. But he didn't take Manny to school. Man, it was a close fight. I think it was a draw.
Yo, Brennan.
Yeah.
Earl Spence just tweeted 4 minutes ago.
What do you say?
Hopefully Danny wins so we can fight at the end of the year. Since he say he not ducking.
Who?
No action.
Who?
Earl Spence tweeted, said, hopefully Danny Garcia wins so we can fight at the end of the year since he says he's not ducking. No action.
Oh, wow. So I don't know if you guys heard that, but my boy Paul just told me that Earl Spence tweeted out that he hopes Danny Garcia wins so that they can fight in that and so that he won't duck him or whatnot. No, it's all good, Marcus. We can agree to disagree. A lot of people, I mean, it's funny because, you know, I don't have a big YouTube. I mean, I don't have like a ridiculously massively large YouTube channel, but I got a little something on YouTube channel. I got 11,000 subscribers. I'm coming up on 10 million views, so I got a bit of a voice in this boxing world. And you know, I know a lot of the big time boxing media, and you know, I've voiced this to a lot of people here in America, the big boxing media, and they think I'm crazy. They think that Floyd did this and Floyd did that, but I really don't. For me, my take on the fight is I don't think Manny looked great in that fight, and I don't think Floyd looked great in that fight. But I think the reason people think the way they do about the fight is the fact that Floyd has a reputation for being a slick, low output punching boxer, but he didn't really like land anything significant on Manny. Like, he wasn't really landing significant punches on a consistent basis against Manny. You know, and I thought Manny was doing some good work finding holes in the Philly shell with the left hand. And he wasn't getting credit for it from Showtime, from the boxing world. And he didn't get credit for his performance in that fight because, one, he lost, and two, because people weren't accustomed to seeing him fight like that. But because he fought in a different manner doesn't mean that he got schooled. Yeah, man. Keith Thurman wants no smoke with Earl Spence. I'm sorry. Keith Thurman don't want no smoke with Earl Spence. I can't wait for that fight. I'm excited for that fight. What favors? Okay, even if Manny did have a lot of favors in boxing, name me a fighter. Name me a fighter in all boxing who, like, for like 10 to 15 years has been challenging themselves against the best fighters. 10 to 15 years straight, just challenging themselves against the best fighters. Because I mean, like, let's go through the resume. Manny Pacquiao. Because I'm really sick. I'm really sick of it. Ever since Manny Pacquiao lost to Floyd Mayweather, in a fight that really wasn't that, in a performance that really wasn't that great from either side, where I think a draw would have been a fair freaking result. But ever since that fight, people have just been shitting on Manny Pacquiao. Yet, of all the welterweights, Manny Pacquiao is the one that's challenging himself. Manny Pacquiao is the one who's fought Timothy Bradley, who's fought Jesse Vargas, who fought Jeff Horn, who fought all these guys. Like, Keith Thurman won't even fight Jesse Vargas. And Jesse Vargas, you know, he's coming off of, you know, decent little performance against, who did he fight? I forgot what he fought. But he fought someone recently. It just makes me sick, bro. Like, okay, you know, let's start from what we in 2018? We'll start from 2008. 2008 he fought Marquez to a split decision. David Diaz, who was a top challenger at the time, knocked him out. You know, fights Oscar De La Hoya, beats the daylights out of him, beats the daylights out of Ricky Hatton, beats the daylights out of Cotto, Clottey, Margarito, Mosley. You know, Marquez in another close fight, beats him again. You know, beat Bradley, but they robbed him. Then he gets stopped by Marquez. Oh, he's done. Oh, he's done. He's not gonna get anything again. Okay, then he takes him to another fight. He fights Brandon Rios, who was you know, Brandon Rios beat him. Timothy Bradley again. Finally, officially takes his O. Then he fights Algieri, who was an undefeated fighter. You know, not a great fighter, but undefeated fighter that had won a world title. Makes that look easy. And we saw Algieri, what he did, how competitive he was against Khan, but he wasn't that competitive against Pacquiao. Then he fought Floyd in Vegas, and you know, the fight was a shit show. For lack of a better word, that fight was just a shit show from top to bottom. And I thought it could have been a draw. And if Floyd won, you know, it wasn't like by a lot. The dude, he was flicking little pity pat jabs. You know, this is boxing. The name of the game is clean and effective punching. And there really wasn't too much clean and effective punching from Floyd. And there was some for Manny, but just not enough of it throughout the span of 12 rounds. So I had it a draw. Then he comes back. He beats Bradley, beats Vargas. You know, I thought he beat Jeff Horn, but he got robbed. Still a good fight where he gave a fantastic account of himself, even at the advanced age of 39 freaking years old. And y'all still have the nerve to disrespect him. It really makes me sick when I see boxing fans disrespect Manny Pacquiao and he don't get the credit he deserves. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, let me go to these comments though. We'll never know because Floyd ducked Manny in his younger days. We'll never know. Like it's ridiculous that people actually have discussions these days. Like, I'm not saying you gotta sit here and be like, oh yeah, Manny Pacquiao is the number one welterweight in the world. No, he's not the number one welterweight in the world. But like, bro, how do we actually have discussions about the welterweight division without mentioning Manny Pacquiao? It's freaking ridiculous. Like, people do that. But hey, that's just what it is, man. Like, I have my opinion, you have yours, but the fact of the matter is, you can have all the opinions you want. Manny Pacquiao's 8th division world champion. Come on, bro. He's nowhere near Floyd's level. Why did Floyd need illegal IV shots? Why did Floyd need to work with Memo Heredia? Why did Floyd not throw? Why did Floyd not commit to offense all night against Manny Pacquiao? Come on, man. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, it really genuinely pisses me off that Manny Pacquiao doesn't get the credit he deserves. Even despite the fact that he's boxing's only 8th division world champion, even despite the fact that, you know, he's been a lineal champion in, I believe, 3 or 4 weight classes. Like, come on, who? Ain't nobody in boxing right now who's got that kind of that resume. I'm sorry, but that's what it is, guys. I'm actually gonna I'm probably gonna get off. I'm gonna get off this, man. And I'll probably be back on in about 30 minutes. So, you know what? Actually, no, I won't get off of this. What I want you guys to do is this. What I want you guys to do is this. Okay, I'm gonna go off the air. I'm not gonna get rid of this Google Hangout, but I'm gonna go off the air. I'm gonna get something to drink, and I'm gonna come back in 20 minutes. All right, I'm gonna come back in 20 minutes, and we'll watch Devin Alexander fight together. So if that sounds cool, let me know. But I'm gonna get off the air. Stay right there. You know what you guys could also do is go send this link, post it on social media. Let's get some more people in here. Let's talk boxing, and I'll be back in about 15, 20 minutes. So stay put. Alexander Fitzmaurice in the building.
And
Right,
themselves
and then
back on the
on
path
the
to a
left,
world title.
to my left, we got my man Paul.
Oh, my son.
Danny Garcia's #1 fan.
Fan of his, yes.
What do you think about his fight? Is he gonna win?
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to get the W. He's the favorite, and I think it's natural for people to be the favorite sometimes in fights. You know, Keith Finn, Lamont Peterson, Lucas Matisse, Amir Khan. 11 of his last 15 opponents have been current or former world champions. So he's got to be the favorite at some time, and he'll get the W and start to climb back up to the top of the welterweight division.
Yes. Danny Garcia's #1 fan. Let you guys know what the deal is. So right now, get ready to watch Devin Alexander versus Victor Ortiz. That fight is on the docket.
Both men trying to resurrect their career after
Excited about it.
Let's
See,
as
let's
they
go
meet for a
live.
definitive fight in El
Audio's
Paso,
right.
Texas. And a very warm welcome to Premier Boxing Champions here on Fox. The main event featuring Victor Ortiz and Devin Alexander in a make or break matchup. Their two fighters have certainly both had their struggles throughout their boxing careers, hugely touted when they first broke onto the scene. And struggled to fulfill that promise that they both showed,
the same question though.
More out of mental problems that they suffered rather than physical ones, but they are now on that road to redemption. Taking
People wondering the rivalries. Devin Alexander and Victor Ortiz. It hasn't started yet. We're just waiting right now, as you guys can hear in the background. Can you guys hear in the background? Let me know in the comments.
Here on Fox this evening. First up, the co-main event featuring super middleweight contender Caleb Plant putting his unbeaten record on the line against former world title challenger Rogelio Porky Medina. The main event then, with two world fighters who don't just need to win but need to look good doing so. Victor Ortiz looking to silence his critics against former two-division champ Devin.
It should be starting soon. I'll let you guys know as I see. As they walk to the ring and all that good stuff. I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, let me know. Just continue, like, for those of you who are funneling in and out of the live stream, like, let me know who you guys think is going to win. Give me your thoughts on this fight, undercard fights with Danny Garcia, Rios, Danny Garcia in general, like, all that good stuff. Anything you want to see on the channel, anything. Put in them comments.
As these guys will tell you, to reach the highest level in this sport,
We got Virgil Hunter.
Robert Guerrero, or
with Sean